Alright. So, I decided I should try and stream again because I finally have some free time. So, I don't know how long I'll be doing this, but today I decided to switch up things and stream some different content. This time, virtual circuit board design. It's been a while since I played, and I wanted to start doing something useful in it again. So why not? So the idea is that I'll have a 16-bit CPU. That is the idea. Other than that, mostly I'll just be messing around. I'll just start with the basic stuff. So I was working on a touchscreen design that I already had one, but it's a mess. So I'm just gonna pull it down for comparison, just so you can see. Obviously, the top one, the modern design, much better because it's smaller and all. The bottom design, the older one, it's a war crime, to put it lightly. It's not good. This one, I engineered it the best way I could. I was like sweating blood and shit to just get it to work properly and hopefully not mess up colors and stuff. So I was having my time with this. But in the end, I did manage to make it better. Because yeah, I did have to sacrifice certain aspects. Basically, as far as I know, the only one that I sacrificed is the fact that the older one, had a clear line. I think it's color 2, which if you activated it, it would just clear all the data, right? That's what it would do. It would just clear every single pixel. But you can do that with an algorithm, so I guess that's fine. So I instead have this one now. My only issue with this is that it's, put it lightly, if you compare the two, it's still technically the same size. It's not smaller that much, but this area, this is 20 by 20. Over here, that's also 20 by 20. So technically the size of the display didn't change. It's just that you have bigger pixels now, which is good because it hides the fact that, there's circuitry between, and it gives you a better touch screen essentially. But looking at the space, and all that, it's clear that I could do something here. My main concern is here, mostly. I probably could do something here, but I don't want this, because if you gotta account for the fact that this is going to be stacked like that. So there's a bunch of latches next to it. So you can't really just put it right into this trace. You have to put it next to it. And I want to try fixing that so that I can maybe like reduce at least 1 pixel of space. So I'm just gonna take this. Actually, I don't have to copy it over because I do have the original here at the time. So you have to. What I want to fix is I want to move this entire thing. The current only issue is that I think it has a delay because of that, right? Yeah. So if you see, it kind of has that problem where essentially the first pulse on this one is out of sync, but then it aligns for one single tick. Other than that, it's like it's fine, but could be better. I also did have to mess a bunch with this because I had to make like a double edge detector The original idea was to connect it to this one to have that signal go down here somehow, but looking at the space, like the confined space here, it's forget about it, dude. Like no shot. Unless I don't know, like bring the entire bus down by the side here, which would definitely mess things up. Although actually probably not too much. As far as I see. Okay. As far as I see, this is only an AND gate here. So, and what I would have to bring down is that trace. Oh, that's an issue though. Unless, hold on. Let's step back here. Let's remove this guy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this. This changes nothing, so this still functions the same. Although there is a right trace there, that's a problem. So you'd have to color it. No? Okay, hold on. What we're aiming for, if I raise this up by 1, copy this over. I'm just gonna, okay, fine. There we go. That should keep the coloring, nice. So anyways, I'll have to color code it. So I have to take some color here and put that onto the bus, but it's still next to the row. That's ass. That's sad. And it turns out we have to raise by another one. Here we go. And then if I put it onto the bus there, and I bring it all the way over here at the edge, I can get rid of this. I could just take this, read. Oh, that's not good. Hold on, that's gonna mess shit up. Here we go. Read, buffer, write. Now the only issue is that we have to replicate the same reading, writing stuff here. So read, buffer, writes in some way that actually fits here. And that's the issue. How do you do that? Unless I put this here, put this here, put this guy here. Oh no, that still messes up, because that's gonna write into here, which is gonna double pulse it. But then it's gonna look stupid, won't it? Let me just test. It's not supposed to do that. Why isn't it? Right, read, right. Something isn't right about this guy. Something just does not work the way it did. Hold on. I have to compare. What did I mess up? Oh. I left out the part that actually, you know, writes back. So that's an issue. Wait, hold on. Hold on, that's not right either. I don't think that looks... Yeah, because look, right there. That is going to, that's supposed to go in there. That's why. Okay. Let's step back. Let's restart this. Hold on. So this has to stay connected. This still has to write back. Right? So that has to stay. Only thing we have to figure out is how to fix the flickering issue here. By which the easiest is to take this signal and somehow transport it down here. The only issue is that we're confined to this space, and we have to keep in mind that there's this guy next to us. Yeah. Also, oh, that's not good. So also one thing I'm noticing is that over here I have this bus with the write and read. That's going to flash every time a write or read happens on the cell, which probably looks not really good. It probably doesn't look really good, because there's gonna be like, you know, some weird jitter or something. Because on the previous design, I also had this flicker issue, except it applied to both of these. So it was also there. Although, if you think about it, this one, all it has to do is take this pulse here and just transfer it down below. So technically I could then go around there and then somehow get here. Maybe. There was also this part, which if I clamp down, and there has to be on the other end a receiver end with a 0 that then transforms it into a read and then passes it over again. So, in conclusion, oh, the wrong one. So all you have to do over here, I'm gonna take this, and we can get rid of all of this, all of it here. I'm gonna copy this out. It's probably oh, it didn't ruin the coloring. That's good. So, anyways, now that fixes that, and the only thing we have to do here, there's gonna be a 0 just to fix any issues. And actually, hold on. I'm gonna switch that around. So there's gonna be this like this. So what we're gonna do is that here, there's gonna be this 0 that then, because then that has to, okay, so this read is gonna be gone because it's gonna be elsewhere. So there's gonna be this 0 that's gonna be turned into a read and then put back into the tunnel. So now it travels down here. And now the only thing we have to fix is, well, putting this 0 back in here into the filler, which it is questionable, but at least it doesn't jut out, so that's good. So now we have this empty space over here, which admittedly is better than having a line because I don't have to mess around with buses, so I do have a bit of a freer time. But again, now the circuit is going to be broken because it relied on the fact that there was a bus there. So I do have to put the bus back. So that has to go back, but only partially, because we only need it up to this point where it has the XOR. And then from this point on, we have empty space. And now that I think about it, I don't have to do all this. I can actually just have the XOR stick out here. I don't have to have a bus. Right? Because this read or write, this just reads into the XOR. This reads into the XOR and it writes out in the middle. So what we can do, have the XOR right here, have the output here, read here. Oh, no, actually, hold on, it should be in reverse. Here, write, read. The write has to be cancelled out. And then we'll just have to connect those two, which is as simple as this, which now that I think about it, that means that having this bus over here is useless. But we did manage to make the circuit a bit smaller in some aspect, I guess. Although the tunnel does bring up an issue, which is that it does interact with the latch. Now, that is an issue. So I guess tunnels won't do it. But at least I can get away with not using buses on the side. So this has to be a reed in this tunnel. And we're gonna fill the empty space with crosses here. Oh, crosses here to avoid interaction. Great! We removed a redundant bus, which is nice, admittedly. I think it works as well, like it works exactly the same. I don't think I broke anything, so. Alright, nice. Now, back to the main problem, which is the flickering. Oh god. Pistachios are suffocating me. Which is the flickering. Which essentially is only caused on this line. However, as far as I'm looking, this looks like it could be compacted. So I'm gonna take this as a selection, go in here, update from the selection. And I'm just gonna get rid of the old version here, and start modifying this one up here. So I'm gonna just clear this out, clear that out. I am gonna put down the current old version, I guess, the current version, just as a reference, so I can see what I'm doing here. So I have a 3x5 area, and what I have to do is get an XOR that both turns this lamp off, or well, switches it back to the original state, and gives out a pulse to the main line without like a double activation or without a delay. So we don't want the buffer gone, essentially. So obviously we have to take one input from the D latch. That is obvious. And another one has to come from the main pixel. And this has to go here and back here. And I think I just compacted it like 8 million times. Holy. I should use some different color there. Probably like number 4. So that it's like, you know, not part of the original one. Oh yeah, let me copy it down. Okay. So that's nice, but we still cannot get it small. And the other issue is that, well, now if you look at the timings, so now it pulses again, like it pulses correctly, but that one is kept on for an extra tick. And that one pulses another time. So now there's this issue that we have to solve. And I don't know why. Oh, wait, is it 2 tick? Because, yeah, it takes 1 tick to get there. Oh, yeah. It's, well, I guess it's fault. That's a fault. But now here, what we have to do is we either somehow get the same circuitry down here, which means that somehow we have to get the D latch's state, which I don't know how I plan to do. Maybe through here. I don't know, because there's like both reads. That's an issue. So another way is to define some circuit that takes one pulse but blocks the second one. So we know that the delay between the 2 pulses is 1 tick. So it pulses, then it's off for 1 tick, and then it pulses again. So we have to solve that for sure. So for now, I'm just gonna take this and update from selection. Now it's gotten smaller again. I don't know why. Anyways, now I'm gonna take this, copy it down, and start work. So next time we're targeting this part, I'm gonna get rid of that. And what we want here is some sort of circuit that takes this 2-tick pulse and turns it into, well, one single 2-tick pulse. It doesn't break it up into two. Technically, it's enough to do 1-tick pulse there. You don't have to do 2-tick on both, because you can capture both. It's not impossible. In fact, it's absolutely possible. So that's fine as long as I do that. For now, I'm gonna simulate this. So we have this, delay between the two. Gonna do a little button here. I'm gonna be fancy. So currently, oh, I messed up. It's supposed to look like that. So right now we have this 2-tick pulsar. So what we have to do is take this and convert it into a single pulse. I'm just gonna modify this so that I can easily switch between the two states. So obviously everything starts out with a write and a read. So obviously we can't take straight output, because then what happens if it's inverted? So we have to do something that takes care of both cases. So first off, I'm curious, what does this do? Does this work? That gives 2 pulses. And if I activate it, just wait for it. 1, 2. Again. So that's the main issue. I don't know why I did invert it here, by the way. Like, I don't know why. Normal XOR and buffer works as well. But anyways, so this is the design that we know that does not work. So we have to come up with a way that takes this 2-tick input, or however many ticks, and outputs a single one. It has to output a single pulse, preferably with the same delay as this one. I could put the buffer back here probably with a little modification, but like, I don't want to. I don't feel like it, you know. I guess what I could do is put a pulse extender on both, I guess, maybe. But that's an issue because then one of them turns into 4-tick. So yeah, that would be too much of a mess, honestly. So can I use NAND somehow in this case? NAND takes 2 inputs. If both of them are true, it outputs false, right? So naturally, the question is, what happens if you do this? There is one single tick. So it does pulse for 1. That means that the AND should work, actually. Hold on. And that does not mess up by default. So you pulse it, and it outputs a single pulse. Very nice. So what happens if you invert it? Then by default, it's outputting 1. And when you pulse it, it gives you a lot of off time. So that works for on, but does not work, or that works for off, but not for on, which is bad. What about NOR? NOR does, if any inputs are on, it turns off, right? That's what it's for, but that's like just using a knob with multiple inputs. If I were to do... Let's see, what does this one do? There is a tick input, tick output. There's another tick output, so it for sure works. Oh, it does have a delay. That's good. That's very good. Oh, okay, I see. So there's a difference in this delay. When it's off, then the delay extends over, but when it's on, then it's faster. So you have to somehow sync them, but you can't really do that. So that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. What about not an and? I'm afraid that also has like a delay on it. So that's equal. That's good. But I feel like it's not going to be the same when it's off. Yeah. So now it overextends. Great. That's not good. Because now on works fine, but off that works fine, but on doesn't. So that's problematic. The issue is that this, like the same design with buffer and XOR, this works perfectly fine. The only issue is that it double generates the pulse. It's like, so it does one in sync, does another one. And when it's on, then again in sync, but then does another one. Which I guess, I mean, it's not bad because technically, technically you could still sync it because they both always happen on the first, like synced on the first tick. Yes, so like quote unquote first tick. But I mean, it's not bad that it double generates because like you're probably gonna be ignoring the second one. I'll just set up some system that detects when they both arrive and then just take that, which I think works fine. The only thing I'm just gonna be changing, so this design, get out of here. So the only thing I'm changing is that I'm uninverting these. Probably I remember the XNOR and not variant for some reason, but this works perfectly fine. So yeah, it double generates, but it's like fine. I can live with that. Yeah. And I don't know what else I could compact in this, because obviously this empty. Oh no, this empty space over here kind of bothers me. But I can't do anything with it unless I get rid of this part. Because I do want my pixels to be squares, so I don't want those unequal whatever shapes. Where else can you do anything with this? Because it does look like you could do something with it. I just don't know why. But it just looks like you could. I'm unsure. I'm kinda unsure. Because I don't know. What can you do to simplify this part? Because something tells me that you could technically move this one lower in some shape, way, or form. But I don't want them to touch because then they'll be like messing with each other and stuff, which isn't the best, honestly. Let me just quickly update the blueprint. Um, so if I were to put this here, I cannot put it in there because then I would have to replace that and that would like do weird stuff. So obviously it goes here. But I cannot put it there because then that activates itself. Wait, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, why am I doing an extra read here? There's a read right there. And that wouldn't mess up anything. So I could just take this, move it one closer. Because then that would... Oh, wait. The writing would interfere, wouldn't it? So you'd have to move that for sure. You have to... Oh, wait, I think you... I don't know, because... okay. Hold on. Because if I were to move it here and then remove this, what would you read from? That doesn't read into anything, that does not help. Let's move this one out here as well. Are we taking the state? We're only taking the state of the pixel over here, other than here. So that does not help. What does the current design do? This is our reference. The current design takes it here. Right, that's obvious. And takes in from the pixel there, and then I writes out. What if I were to do some flipping and read from here right here? So I would switch here for write read combo. Oh, that does mess up the colors though. So I'd have to redesign it a bit. Hold on. If I were to do this here, write read, do the read there, do the write there. That would, hold on, no, because the idea is this, right? This also works. but I cannot directly write to it because that messes up colors on the other side. So I'd have to write out here, but then I cannot put the tunnel there. So I have to somehow collapse this, and how do you collapse it? I don't know. Lovely. So this, as far as we see, this writes out only to, quote unquote, only to read into here. If I could move this right over here, so I could do this. That has to be a bus, sadly. And this has to be a read. You have to read into the XOR. Which does have to change shit here. So you have to do this, but then that does not work. This has to write out and read into here. You'd have to... Oh wait, now that I'm thinking about it. Read as a tunnel. Oh, that is taken here. Ah, no. No, that would have been so good. Actually, how much would it cause issues? Like how bad would it be if I had, oops, no, not like that, but like this? Like how bad would it be if the XOR read into itself? Would that be like pulsing around? If I do one tick pulse right, would that cause issues? Hold on, what were the controls? Oops, no, wrong one. 2 is data in, oops. 2 is data in. 3 is right trigger. Okay. There. It's like this. Okay. So let's do some testing here. If I were to just here do this. Ah, I see. So it has a stroke. Let's say it's down when I activate it. In that case, it succeeds. And that stays on. Oh, because I forgot to put a buzz there. There we go. So let's do it again. So that is currently doing some madness. If it's down and I activate it, it succeeds. Did I see that right? It did not pulse like properly. Okay, yeah, that's weird. But it's fine. So let's try now if it's down. So, or it's up. So it's on when you activate the read. Nothing happens. Great. Sure is a great issue. What do I do about that? Oh, hi. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Hi there. Long time no see, I guess. All right. So how do I want to do this? Hold on. I'm like, this is like a confined dash space, so I have to be creative with this one. Hold on. Hold on. What if I were to move this? Oh, no, we're not moving it there. We're not doing that. Okay. So it does that, but that does not fit there apparently. So we're just gonna revert here. So copy this, and boom. And let's start again. So we have to, what was I trying to fix? I was trying to lower this, right? So what I did try previously was that if I were to lower this by 1, and of course that does mean that I have to change this and this and this and put the right here, but still looks not too bad. Technically I don't need that read there or right there in the middle, so I could do this. And now it makes me curious if this works. So I'm just gonna by default activate the lines. I'm just gonna keep that on and just test to see. So let's try pulsing. Wait, it just works like that? Hold on, what the fuck? Activates, turns off. Okay, pulses a second time, duh, but that went very well compared to what I was expecting. Let's force this guy to oh, I can't get it to stay on. That's not good. Not a good sign. Let's try something here. So let's do this. Just a 1 tick average pulse, which activates that, and it works good. So now what happens if I were to click this? It works. Turns off, synchronized, does that weird jittery thing, and stays on. Great! So what happens if we write a 0 in 1 tick? Then turns off, does its thing, and it's working. Nice. Okay. I thought that was going to ruin everything. Apparently not. So that's good, because now I can just take this, move it in by 1. I can also take the top and also move it in by 1. So now it's 19 by 19. 1 singular pixel in each dimension. That's how much we shaved off, which is basically nothing in large scale. Actually, not that much, because if I do like something like a 32 by 32 pixel screen, that's 32 little squares that I shaved off, which is good. That's really good. But now this looks spacious, and I want to fix that. So I'm just gonna make this savable, just so that I can update the selection. There we go. Look at that. Hopefully the colors are not messed up. Okay, good. And now, this time, to copy this down and go back to the drawing board once again. So we're gonna try and reduce this part down by 1 square, because it looks like it could be shaved down. Now the issue again is that what I could do is technically pull it in, but that's going to activate itself, which isn't good. So let's do a hypothetical run here. What if I were to activate or like connect those? This is the equivalent of pulling it 1 closer. So I'm just gonna do some tests. Put up the whoopsies, the test nodes, and let's start. So pulsing works, and it pulses once. That is very good. So let's try writing to it with a 1 tick pulse, which works, which is nice, but you can see there's an issue there. So does this work? It does work. What the hell? And it's synchronized. It does double pulse here for some reason. So let's try writing a 0. Oh, never mind. Hopefully that did nothing. Okay, so let's try writing a 0 to it. And that's an issue. How do I stop this? Okay, let's oh no. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. Because there's a 0 in there, it's just not working. Okay, let's reactivate this just to stop. And let's try a 2-tick pulse. Does nothing to fix the error. Let's try holding it down to see if no. Okay, nearly perfect. The only issue is turning off. So that's probably bad, but everything else worked fine. So sadly, really sadly, that's a no. Let me just hold on. Need a drink here. So I have to somehow squish this together. I don't know how. If I want to bring that close, I could try putting a cross here, put that there, but that would override them, do some bullshit there. I'm gonna try, hold on. Like this. That moves there, but we do not want to activate that from here. So you have to move that, but then you have to activate this from here, and that's gonna cause discoloring on the other side, or it's gonna start, giving false signals. Great. Somehow that's an issue. Oopsies. That was accidental. So, how would I do this? Great. I don't know how to do this. Hold on. Unless I activate this here, but then I cannot have anything there. But I still have to write this. Okay, so what happens? Hear me out. What happens if I put it right here? But technically that means that this is useless, so we can get rid of that, and we can also get rid of that other read. So we have this box, I guess. Okay, let's try. Let's try. Let's see if this war crime works. Okay, so far so good. It passed one test. Good. So let's try writing to it. This is the first major test. Oh my, that worked really nicely. It pulses properly as well. It does double generate, but we do not care about that anymore. And now the question everyone's been waiting for, does it turn off properly? Let's see. That's not good. I mean, it should be expected because it's writing to itself, which is not an ideal scenario. Okay. How does one fix this? Hypothetically speaking, how does one fix this? If I were to cancel this right here and put up a right here. Oh, that would technically that would connect. That's not good. If I put a right here, separate this for the funsies of it. Yeah. Ooh, voice crack. And put this here. Does that work? Because now it's no longer feeling it's. Wait, what does this even do? What is the point of this? Oh, I think I meant a read here. Okay, there we go. So let's test it again. For the millionth time already. Pulses, great. Does it pulse with sync? Yes, it does. What happens if we write a 1 to it? Works properly. Pulses properly as far as I see. So let's try to write a 0 to it. By far the hardest thing to do right now. And it works! Great! Great! Okay, let's try to do this without pausing every time. So, okay. Nice. Oh god. That was something. So now, luckily, that means that we can shave off another pixel on each side. So now it's 18 by 18. Voila. Wait, what? No, it's 14. Yeah. 18 by 18. 14 by 14 is the big green thing. So that's good. Sure, this is like annoying probably because it's got. Ooh, that's a different thing. So this is probably gonna be annoying. Oh, the problem is though that's a read inside. Oh no, I don't think those are colored. Like I don't think they are colored the same. Yeah, that doesn't look good. That does not look good because it does not. The color is not the same. But you know when it's off it is, so I cannot really do anything with that. And I don't want to decrease the screen size. That's for sure. So or the display size, yeah, display size. I have to do something with this. Okay. Okay, yeah. Sadly that's gonna be forgotten. Let's copy again and just try. So we have to avoid putting reads in here. Let's see, if I move this here, right? We could technically shrink this all the way in here. That still works. And then I want to bring this one closer. I would have to get rid of, I'd have to have those 3 pixels, this one, and this one clear. So I'd have to move the right somewhere. But where? It's really making it hard that I cannot use buses here because that causes discoloring. So sadly, that's not an issue. Or not a, sorry, not an option. Hmm. Because that there wasn't good. This is not really easy. Having a hard time figuring out how to do this. Okay. Let's try zeroing this out real quick. So, you know that this does not do anything. Can put a write immediately there. And we do want a read into this and a write back in here. I cannot put a read there because that messes up the latch. So either I move that part, but I cannot do that as far as I see. Right, like maybe like shift that part around. Hold on. Let me see what I can do with this here. Because I could probably move. No, wait, no. We tested that. I cannot move that up there because that does not help with power. Because of the confined space here. Unless I go back to using a buzz there, because technically that didn't have any problems. Just didn't like it that much. So I could keep the read there. But the write didn't have any problems, so I don't know why I'm moving it. Let's try moving the read. Let me just make some space here, actually. You have to put an XOR. All right, there. So let's try to buzz this whole thing. Does makes me wonder, can I put an XOR here somewhere? It doesn't look like it. And I cannot put it in there because then the number, like the cross or the trace one disappears. So I have to figure something out here for sure. Could I actually extend this? But hold on. It may sound weird, but what if I extend this actually? So, like that. Actually, hold on. Let me stack that, stack that. So what if this is instead 2 units? Because then I could have a read here, which is not picked up, and then the XOR and the XOR here. And then have that somehow write and read there? Maybe? That still causes issues. We know that we cannot connect it to itself. So and what happens, actually, hold on. What happens if I try to move trace to the horizontal line as well? So what if I move that? Because the reason why it was good is because here's the data latch, right? So trace 2 is gonna set where the data latch is. And also, okay. But if I move the coordinate line to somewhere into the middle, because this can like be moved anywhere. This could be compacted down. So makes me wonder. And if I move it one extra space, then technically I could pierce it here through here, maybe. Like, hold on. Just get rid of that there. So, could do this. And over here, I could move this over by 1 and insert the 0 there. And then over here, could bring out the and. Have a... Oh wait, no, because the read is going to have problems, huh? Hmm. Okay, that's not... Okay, this is not the direction. This is not the direction. Let's go back. Because for now, technically, the 19 by 19 is also good. It also is smaller, technically, so... I mean, that's fine. But, like... I feel like it could be better. This part really annoys me, and I feel like it could be better. I am going to reduce this. So I am definitely making it smaller just to, like... reduce redundant stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna have to update that here manually then. And there we go. So alright, you know what? No, I ran out of ideas. I genuinely ran out of compacting ideas. I don't know what else I can do with this, so I guess that wraps up today's episode. I'll try to stream sometime soon. And